Hello, my name is Sheila Parkins, and I am a homeless services program analyst working for the homeless services section at Oregon Housing and Community Services. Today, I'm going to be walking through completing your annual report, as this is going to be a very simple process this year. I don't have a scripted presentation, but I am going to walk you through it. And so bear with me. I am going to share my screen here. Hopefully, this will work out without any problems. So, what I have right here, let's start here. So, right here from the Master Grant Agreement Module and Information Dashboard, or your MGA dashboard, you will see that right at the beginning, we have some instructions. And one of the instructions here in the green highlight is your year one report. It's saying coming soon now as I record this, but that will be removed once the uh, report becomes available for you to complete. So what it tells you to do is select your agency's year one report from the link before. Each report is going to be customized for every organization, and you are probably familiar with this if you did this last year. If you don't see your agency's acronym in the title of the report, then you've probably selected the incorrect one. So go back and select the right one. And your report will be due on August 30th, 2026. The training is going to be this training that I'm going to be providing you. It's going to be super quick. And if you scroll down, you will see the year one annual report and it says choose your agency. So each agency has a report that's customized to them. I'll correct Orca. Um, and you'll be able to get to the video from the dashboard here or from the program update that we send out through the gatekeeper. So what I want to do is I'm going to open up a general form. And the reason why I do that is because each form is going to be customized for every agency. So every agency will not see all of the same information. We've streamlined the year one report to the very basics that we need for right now. The year two report is going to be a little bit more robust. So don't expect this in year two. But for year one, this is going to be super simple. The report period is based on July 1 of 2025 through June 30th of 2026. And that will be considered year one of the performance period, the fiscal year. We do not want you to complete this report until after you have submitted your final FSR in Opus. You are going to need to have that submitted in order to complete this report. So don't try to start the report until after you have submitted your final FSR. The report is also going to be joint. So it's similar to the previous annual reports that we've done. You're going to report on funding sources together. You're going to aggregate the information. So it's going to include EHAP General Fund, EHAP DERF funds, ERA, ESG, HSP, HTBRA, and SHAP. So when you answer the questions, particularly in the subrecipient section, you are going to aggregate any funds that you provided to them through all of these funding sources. And the answer will just be $1 amount. So just wanted to clarify that with you. As always, you must complete a Smartsheet form in a single sitting, as it will not save your answers. You also will not be able to correct answers once you hit submit. So be aware of that and have your information ready and available for when you're ready to complete your report. Let's go through it really quick. I'm actually going to fill this out so that you can kind of see what happens. The date submitted will be the date that you choose. In this case, it would be after you submitted your final FSR, but for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll just pick today's date. Then you're going to select your agency. Now, this is going to say complete this report for, and it's going to have your acronym for your agency, similar to up here where it says agency name, highlight that. That will have your organization's acronym in there. If you don't see your organization's acronym here and you don't see it here, you see somebody else's, you do have the wrong report. So go back and select the right one. So for this, I'm just going to say access because it's the first one that shows up. So we're going to say we're submitting this report for access. You're going to put the name of who is completing the report in case we have any questions. And then you're going to enter your email address. And similar to all Smartsheets, if you elect to choose the pre-populated option, you might actually get other information that you used the last time you submitted something, and it will populate different answers in the next available spaces. So always when you're in Smartsheets, be sure to actually type it out and try not to use that pre-populated version. Otherwise, you might get weird or different data in the additional fields that you have to fill out. So the first section that you are going to see is subrecipients. And again, the organization is not a subrecipient if they're not receiving funding. So if an organization is a partner and you might have some kind of an agreement with them, but you're not sharing any funding, then you're not reporting on those agencies, and those organizations do not actually need to be considered a subrecipient and have prior approval for a subrecipient. Subrecipients are only those that you're sharing money with. So we're going to tell you how many subrecipients that you've identified in your 25-27 implementation report. These are the subrecipients that you will report on. If you have 0 subrecipients, this is going to say 0, and you're not going to get any fields for subrecipients. So this is going to be a shortened section if you do not have subrecipients. If you have 15 subrecipients, you're going to have spaces for 15 answers. If you have 3, you're going to see spaces for 3. So it's definitely customized. So you're going to report on the subrecipient's organization name, and that should match what you had submitted in your original implementation report. You're going to report on the administrative funds that you provided to each of these subrecipients and the program funds that you provided. We don't ask for further opus detail than that for your subrecipients, like the categories. We're only saying program in general and admin in general. The total that you enter needs to be aggregated for all the programs. So EHAP, DERF, ERA, ESG, HSP, HTBRA, and SHAP, they're going to be reported together. We do require prior approval before distributing any OHCS funds to a subrecipient organization, and you must submit and receive that approval through an IR amendment request if it's after the beginning of the biennium. You have to seek that approval before you give them any money or before any expenditures by a subrecipient occur. If we approved it and you had already given them money and they were already spending it, all of those expenses prior to when we approved it will be unallowable. So make sure that you are submitting this before you distribute any fund and before any funds are expended by a subrecipient. So if you add, delete, or edit any subrecipient, you can submit that through the IR amendment request form that's available on the HSS dashboard. I believe it's also available on the MGA dashboard, so either one will get you there. If you do not list all of your subrecipients in this report, this is going to generate a response by our team as to why not all subrecipients were listed, and we'll request the information about the nature of that relationship between the organization, between you and the subrecipient organization. So again, subrecipients are those that you share funding with. So just be aware of that. If we follow up and you did not share funding with them and they're not considered a subrecipient, you can give us that information. So I'm not going to fill every one of these out because there are spaces for 15 subrecipients, but I'm going to fill out a couple here. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, I don't know, CBO, whatever the name is. And then you're going to identify, and these are numbered fields, so you have to enter numbers in here. We're going to identify the amount of admin funds you provided and the amount of program funds. So like in this case, we'll say, we gave them $1,000 in admin, and then we gave them, I don't know, $7,000 in program. And then you'd go to subrecipient two, and you're going to say A, B, C, shelter, and you're going to say you gave them say 2,500 admin and I don't know, 10,000 in program funds. And you just keep going, adding this information as you go. Again, this is customized for you. So you're not going to have all of these spaces, but if you did have 15, and we do have an organization that had 15 subrecipients, if you had 15 subrecipients, you're going to need to enter the information for all those subrecipients. Then the next question you get, and this is super simple, is to identify any hurdles or struggles that you experienced during the first year of funding. We want you to be as specific as possible, or if there's any other information that you would like to share with us, you can use this space to do it. Remember, this is not a space to request permission for a subrecipient. That will be in the IR amendment form, and you will need to use that form in order to request that a subrecipient be approved. So this is just to help us identify any hurdles or struggles that you might have had this past year. There might be a way that we can help address them in the upcoming year. We want to give you that opportunity. If you do not have anything to share, you will see this is a required field. So we do want you to enter something here. But if you really do not have anything to share, you can enter NA for not applicable, and that's fine. As in most smart sheets, you do have an opportunity to ask for your copies to be sent to you. So you can say, send me my copies, and you want to enter in your email address, and then you want to hit submit. Oh, and then I didn't fill out all the fields. So because I did this with this kind of a thing, I'm going to make this really super easy, and I'm just going to put ones in everything. So bear with me. As you can see, you can put very limited information here, but I'm just gonna fill this out super quickly. Bear with me. Because I did want to show you what it will show you as you say submit this, because it's going to give you a pop-up screen. Okay. So we're going to hit submit. And then it's going to say, hey, great success. We've captured your response. And then it will, if you selected to send an email to you, it will send an email with all of your responses. And that will come from the Smartsheet email address. And so you want to make sure that you are getting those notifications. If you needed to have more than a single person receive that notification, you can put that in the email section, separated with semicolons. So that's it. It really is super simple. We're just asking about the funding that went to your subrecipients and asking you to share any thoughts or concerns, hurdles, struggles, or anything you've experienced in this last fiscal year. So that's it. Quick little video here. If you need any additional information, feel free to reach out. You can reach out to me directly, and that's sheila.parkins@hcs. No, wait a minute. sheila.parkins@hcs.oregon.gov. And then if you don't need to reach out to me directly, but you want to have a more generalized conversation with someone, you can always email our gatekeeper email at homelessservices@hcs.oregon.gov. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.